Uh-huh.
That's right.
Like biscuits.
Straight out of the oven.
Gobble damn cookies up, yo.
Word.
Gotta have them bickies.
Cookie Monster rates us.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
To Life Biscuits. It's Chris and Glen, and we are here with snack-sized wisdom, life-size impact. And today we are bringing you biscuit number 8, discipline.
Oh, discipline, Lowy. Look, if there's anything to really kind of get excited about, this has to be right up there because this is all about realizing our potential through our own efforts.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. So it's kind of like Life Biscuits in a mini nutshell.
Yeah, it's the fuel. It's the fuel for us to reach our potential. I mean, sure, we can have courage, all right, and all the other biscuits, but if we don't have the discipline to work on them, all right, we're not going to reach our potential. So
to let you know, folks, it's going to be like we're going to hit you, and we're hitting ourselves at the same time here.
Yeah. I don't know, we said, last week, we said preparation, also not my best biscuit, but also I feel like discipline is something that I want to work on a little bit better.
I mean, if you ask people around you, Lowy, they're probably saying you're going all right at the discipline. And we'll probably bring up a few examples of that
no.
tonight. But discipline, like working hard, deliberate effort towards something when you don't want to. Like, that's what we're kind of talking about here, is really buckling down. So we want you to buckle down here, strap yourself in, because we feel like
tick it or click it, right?
Yeah, tonight could really inspire some people. However, could be hard hitting for some as well. And if you're sitting there going, I like to be comfortable, like I don't really like to work too hard, I'm a kind of take it easy kind of person,
I'll just skate on my talent. Oof.
Have a nice evening. You can log off or tune out now, because tonight's probably not going to be for you yet. Tune back in when you're like,
I'm ready,
dissatisfied with your mediocrity, which I am.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
And we want to just get better. And I think discipline is one of the key ingredients, biscuits, to get us there.
Yeah, for sure. Join the email list if you haven't. You can check it out. It's a pinned post on Facebook, or you can go to lifebiscuits.com and sign up on the right side of the screen there, and we'll hit you with a 1-minute snack
sized
each week. Cool.
So,
let's
kick it off. So the acronym for discipline is GRIT. All right, and when you think about grit, and I think about gritty people, all right, they're the people that just work, all right, they're just disciplined, they just
persevere.
They persevere. Yeah.
Now, grit, as we have mentioned before, we recommended it, I think, back in Cultivate episode, as a great book to read.
Thanks, Angela Duckworth.
Yep, Angela Duckworth. And so we're using that as the acronym. We'll make a couple of references to the book tonight, but we'll also do a book club on it in season 2. So if you don't want to read it now, you can wait for that book club episode, and maybe you'll want to read it after that. So discipline's all about doing what others won't, so that we can achieve what others can't, and we can go and do what others can't. So that's the thing that really separates. We've all got those people in our lives. Hey?
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to be the best, right? They want to have everything. They want to live the life that they want, but a lot of people don't want to put the effort in.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And this is where, if we gobble this biscuit up, we're going to be able to do, like you said, what other people can't.
Yeah, definitely. So we want to really make a distinction here between talent and effort, and we're going to do that pretty much straight up here in the letter G of grit,
which stands for guts. Right? And when you think about disciplined people, they're gutsy. All right, no one wants to do this stuff. Right, it requires some determination. It's uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. Right, but they're gutsy. All right, and they go in and they're roll up the sleeves, get their hands dirty, they face that adversity, and they just get it done.
Yeah.
All right. They've also got that dog mentality, and I'm a big fan of the dog mentality.
Larry loves the dog mentality.
I love the dog. And I never really heard about it, but until I got into, I was a bench warmer at the Queensland Sun Devils, and we had Jesse Williams, Monster Williams, and he was a Seahawks player, and he came and chatted with the Sun Devils team, and I'm just like this scrawny little Asian kid, and he just talked about the dog mentality. All right, and we've been made big fans of Pete Carroll and what the Seahawks culture is about, and the dog mentality is about. And he used this example of hunting. Like if you've ever hunted pigs or whatever, the dogs, you hunt the dogs, and they track down, and they're single-minded, focused, and they want the pig, all right? And they hunt and hunt and hunt, and they sniff it out. Once they sniff it out, they're on the trail. And then when they sight the pig, they latch on, and there's a whole pack of them, all right? And, they latch on. Maybe one dog gets knocked off, gets a little bit of a scratched up, and then the other dog's on there. And as a team, as a person, you got to have that dog mentality that's just gritty. Yep, get knocked down, doesn't matter. Guts, right? Face that tough pig that's trying to shake you off, and you're latching back on until the pig gets brought down.
Yep.
All right.
And in volleyball, we're the dogs and the pig's the ball.
Yeah,
you just chase that ball down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you own a dog and you've ever tried to play a tug of war with it, they'll grab on, they'll shake, and you might be able to pull it off, pull the toy off them, but they'll come back at it and grab it. That's the kind of mentality we're talking about when you have guts.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys can sort of, as listeners, appreciate what I'm trying to talk about when we just go after it. We get that ball, we chase that ball. All right, single-minded focus.
We've got to realize that. And we'll get on to realise shortly.
Yeah.
But really, the fundamentals of doing the grind. If you talk to Kobe Bryant, you see interview. Well, you can't talk to him anymore. But rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He obviously one of the greatest basketballers who have played the game. Fundamentals, he just went on about fundamentals, and all of these amazing people who are hugely successful. If you hear interviews with them, and they're just it's just fundamentals, man. Just deliberately
hours
getting
after it,
taking
shots.
Yeah, they're the ones who are hanging back after practice, and you hear the stories about it. He stays back after practice and just shoots for 2 hours. Just whatever it is. These guys are out there doing it. They're not. We've got to get rid of this mentality that the people who are really kicking butt in the world are these,
uber once
gifted,
in a generation. Yeah.
Exactly. And sure, there's elements of that.
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree. But it's been proven. The pathway from mediocrity to greatness has been mapped.
Yeah.
All right. And the mapping relates specifically to hard work and practice and putting in the hours, and not only just mindless hours, but
deliberate.
Intentional, deliberate hours of practice, consuming feedback and being eager for feedback from any source they can get, external, internal, taking the time to just really dig deep and have the guts to want more is something that separates these amazing people. And if we bring that to our lives, what areas can I be more gutsy in? Can I get better in? And I think, if we broke our life up into all of our, my financial and my relationships and my work and my hobbies and all that sort of thing, we'd be like, yeah, okay, I want to get a little bit better in this and I want to get a lot better in that. And yeah, we at some point need to choose one and go, boom, I'm going to dig deep in this. Talk to us about David Goggins Lowy and guts.
Oh, David Goggins. I think we've talked about him before, but he's just an absolute machine of a person who's just single-minded, focused on whatever he's trying to achieve. Ultra marathon runner, world record holder of chin-ups at one stage, and he would just continue and continue. He was running, and he did a 100 miler which is 160 kilometers. It was like zero training.
Yeah.
And the night before, he did like this leg workout, and he was just like, I've got to finish. And he was at the end, he was like, he'd pooped himself. It like was urine, like bile in his urine. This guy's just gutsy.
It's like, and I mean, we're not saying we need to.
Yeah, you don't have to hurt yourself.
Like he's insane. But one of his mantras is like he takes the path of most resistance. In life, we're just like, where's the life hack? Where's the shortcut? How can I just get out of this easy? Which is just breeding this real sort of soft culture in our own lives. Our personal culture is getting weakened by all of these desperation to find the easy way out.
And that path is just getting trodden and trodden and trodden, and it's getting more easier for us. And it's just almost a positive feedback loop where it just really degrades our discipline, right? Because we just take that path of least resistance.
Yep. Going back to grit quickly, the book. Angela Duckworth talks about this concept, and this is a big one that's going to kind of just straight up have some proof in relation to the talent myth. All right, and Jeff Colvin's done an amazing book called Talent is Overrated, and you can check that out as well. But Angela Duckworth, one of her things is, one of the chapters in the book is effort counts twice. All right, talent times effort equals skill.
Yep.
All right, once you've got that, so obviously you start with talent. We all start with somewhere on the talent spectrum.
Talent, yep.
Multiplied by effort equals skill, and then skill times effort equals achievement. So you're like, oh, okay, that's nice to hear. Let's put some figures to it just to make a point.
Get your calculators out.
All right, and we'll keep it, fairly round numbers here to keep it pretty simple. But let's just call everything on a scale of 1 to 10. All right, so if we started, Lowy, and you can do the multiplication for me, but if I started with a 10 on the talent scale.
Yep.
All right, so I'm like God-gifted. I'm an inspired athlete.
Superhuman.
Yeah, like, wow, this guy's so talented. And I say, my effort is 5.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in half effort.
10 times 5 is 50.
Thank you. That's quick mental computation.
Thanks, guys.
Now, if I then take that 50
from my skill,
which I've generated, and I multiply it by my effort again, which is 5, what's that?
250.
250. Okay, so keep that number in mind, folks. 250.
For a person who's talented but does not put the effort in, or put
some effort in. All right, they're putting a bit of effort in.
250.
Now, let's take someone who's half as talented.
Yeah.
All right, but works like their butt off. So they're 10 out of 10 on the effort scale.
So 5 times 10 is 50, same as before.
50, same as before. So they can eventually get to the same skill level with just twice the amount of work. So they're putting in. Not going to lie, they are putting in. But now that 50 gets multiplied by 10.
10, or 50 times 10 is 500. That's double.
Oof, people. Damn. I'm going to...
That was a click if you didn't hear that on the microphone.
Yeah, that's it. But they've doubled their success or achievement or output just because of the effort that they're willing to put in.
If anybody plays NBA 2K, whatever version, favorite quote from that, talent beats... And you'll just have to... Let me just rephrase this. Talent beats effort when effort... No. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, guys. Cock this up.
I think I know the one
you know the one I'm talking about? He's like, your agent's like, oh, yeah.
Effort beats talent when
talent doesn't work hard.
No, hard work beats
hard
talent.
Hard work beats talent. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Like it. So yeah, passion times perseverance times perspiration. Get some P's into there, people. So the persistence requires ongoing discipline. The perspiration requires discipline in the now. All right, so there's this combination. We combine that, and we'll talk about this later in the acronym, with some passion, and we are away. All right, so there's a few things that we can really jump on here with guts, but the fact is, I think last week maybe, or the week before, I said I just needed to be tougher, and I think if we can get that, if we can all just remind ourselves, now I've got to be tougher now, I've got to be gutsier, then we can go and get some stuff done. All right.
So, G, guts. Be gutsy.
What about the R, Larry?
Well, the R stands for realize squared.
Oh,
all right.
What do you mean by realize squared?
Well, part of being disciplined, if we are disciplined, all right, we'll be able to realize the outcome or actuate the achievement that we want. So that's one of the realizes.
Yeah,
right?
You can realize what's happening through you.
But before you can actuate or realize, make that discipline come to fruition for our achievement, you have to realize that it's on us.
Oh,
right?
Amen, brother. It is on us. We definitely just sit around a lot of the time and we don't have that real kind of pressing urge to go, wait, no one's coming to save me. No one's going to make things easier for me tomorrow or whatever. Like, it's on, if I actually want to achieve these things that are in my mind or get better, which if you're still listening at this point, we think you do want to get better, that it's on us.
Yeah, I've got a little anecdote from Eric the Hip Hop Preacher, and it's probably one of my favorite stories from him. Anyway, he says, every single day in the African savannah, a gazelle wakes up. All right. And every single day in the African savannah, a lion wakes up. All right. And, if we are gutsy, disciplined people, hopefully we think we're lions. But sometimes, we're gazelles. And if you're a gazelle and you wake up every morning, the only way to survive, all right, is to run faster than the slowest gazelle. All right. In your mind, you're like, I just got to run faster than the lion. But no, hang on a second. There's other gazelles around me. Okay, I'm in a herd. And that's like the majority of us, we think, oh yeah, some people just going through the motions, being satisfied with mediocrity. But we just have to run faster than the slowest gazelle, all right? And when you realize that if I'm at the end of the pack, then I will get eaten. I need to be at the front, all right? I need to work. I need to make sure that I wake up and put in the effort to not be the last person, all right, or last gazelle. All right, then I'll be able to succeed in some way. All right. Here's the thing on the flip side. If I'm a lion, all right, I also still have to wake up, and I also still have to run as well if I want to get fed. Okay. But if we look down deeper into that story, all right, when the gazelle wakes up, all right, and it's eating its grass, munching away. All right, it's just standing there. Okay, there's nothing chasing it. Okay, and the difference between the gazelle and the lion is that the gazelle requires some motivation. It's not going to run unless the lion's chasing it. All right, and that's the same with us. Like, we have to realize that we can't be the gazelle. We have to be the lion. We have to wake up and we have to go hunt and get after it. Be that dog. All right. A lot of us, we're gazelles at the moment. And I know I'm a gazelle sometimes. Like, I'm studying this uni course at the moment and I'm doing a terrible job of being disciplined with my study. All right. I'm a gazelle at the moment. I need people to keep me accountable. I need people to encourage me, reward, incentivize. All right. But if I was an actual lion and I realized that, hey, if I'm disciplined, I wouldn't need that. Part of my identity is to go after it and go get it. I don't need no encouragement. That's just who I am, right? And hopefully we can realize that if we want to be disciplined and we want to reach our potential, we have to be a dog. We have to be a lion. We have to go get after it, all right? No one is going to... The lion is not going to have a gazelle just walk up to it and say, hey, come eat me, all right? The lion has to go after the gazelle. That's a long-winded one.
What's that?
That was a bit long-winded, but...
That's good.
Be a dog, be a lion, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I want to flip it on you and say, to use the same analogy, if we are a gazelle, like a gazelle, you have to have a sense of urgency about you as a gazelle. Like you wake up and you are on your toes. Like, you're like, holy cow, man, I could die right now. Like, I could die today if I don't get on the move and get going and get better. Better than that, my old mate Johnny over here.
Yeah.
All right. So if we can do the same thing and go, wait, my life could come to an end at any moment, and I do want to achieve some things before that moment happens, and so I've got to have that sense of urgency, like the gazelle. When a gazelle's born, it has flipping 10 minutes to start finding its feet before it needs to start running. Because it could get gobbled up, and you've seen probably videos on YouTube of little animals being born and then immediately being eaten. And how long do we often, as we've said before, it takes until our late 20s or 30s before we start realising that, wait, I should probably start doing something with my life. We spend all of our formative years. So if you're a teenager now listening to this, and we know that there are some because our kids at school, some of them are tuning in, and welcome. But don't wait, man. Be like a gazelle and go, hey, I can start now. I don't have to wait until I'm 25 before I start figuring this sort of stuff out. So last week we spoke about the chasm of incompletion.
Yep.
All right. Was it last week? Was it the week before? Can't remember. The chasm of incompletion was where we get started on things and then we just drop off, and confidence really diminishes. And so when we eventually we catch up and we can finish, our confidence can skyrocket. But if we want to avoid that chasm, if we want to take the path over it, the overpass, if you will, that's discipline. All right. It requires doing something without motivation. How many times have we said, I'm just not motivated. I just couldn't be bothered.
All the time.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure everyone has thought that. Yet, if you did get up and do something, I don't think we would say it's hard. I think it'd still be easy. Like, let's just use going for a run as an example, right? Oh, I know I need to go train. It's easy to put shoes on, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. It's easy to open a door.
Yep.
It's easy to put one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
It's easy to stay in your anaerobic training, or your aerobic training zone, I should say, which is where your heart rate is kind of below that threshold of anaerobic byproduct. So technically, I could go for a 3 or 5k run pretty easy.
Yep.
It's just easier to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend that it's hard.
Yeah.
Let's just realize that I'm being soft, and I have a choice to do something easy that's going to make me better, but instead I'm choosing the easier option that something's going to make me worse. Like, let's be honest, sitting on the couch and scrolling through my feed isn't adding value to anyone or myself.
It's not going to make that boat go faster.
No, exactly. Will it make the boat go faster? No, Lowy, it won't. Have we been through will it make the boat go faster?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Just in case we haven't, it's a brilliant one-line question, all right, which was used by the British rowing team, some Olympics ago, and they were pursuing a gold medal, and they kind of came up together and said, okay, for the next 4 years, we want to do everything we can to win the gold medal. What do we need to do to win the gold medal? We need to make the boat go faster. So every choice they made, either as the group or as individuals, they ran that question through their minds.
Yep.
So they're at the shop, Snickers are half price, right?
Oof. King size too.
Should I buy it? Well, I need to run it through the question. If I buy this Snickers, will it make the boat go faster? No. Therefore, the answer is no. So if their goal was to make the boat go faster to win the Olympic gold, which I believe they did, what's our gold medal? And then can we run that question over it?
Yeah.
And we often tell each other, hey, will it make the boat go faster? And we've taught that in a seminar before, and we've had, I know I was at a staff morning tea and I was having a brownie or something, and Louise is like, hey, mother, will that make the boat go faster? So,
touche.
Touche, indeed. But a good little one question there that I think was worth.
To help you realise. Another thing about realising stuff is realising, and you mentioned it when we talked about easy versus easier, but metacognition, all right? And metacognition is thinking about your thinking, habits of mind. Yeah. And we've got to be really aware of when we are trying to lie to ourselves, because our brain is going to be, like, as an evolutionary trait, save them calories, man. All right, we've worked hard. We need to make sure that if something bad goes down, we got to save calories, and your brain will just automatically, as an evolutionary decision trait, all right, make that decision for you. Hey, oi, Lowy, don't go out, mate. All right, or go to bed earlier. Save some energy. Don't work hard. Yeah. All right, and we have to be aware. We have to realize that. All right, people be lying. People gonna make excuses for us.
Yeah. So that little voice can be a criminal, man. He's stealing from your future.
He is.
And so we've got to recognize that. So we talked about the time delusion last week.
Yeah.
And that sort of plays into the time delusion that we were talking about, where you're convincing yourself that, oh, no, man, it's sweet, bro.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of time in the future. You can do it later.
Oh, the draft's not due till 11:59 or 4 p.m, you know?
I've got some drafts due at 11:57 tonight. I know. So we'll see how many of those come in.
Oh, yeah. That's the volleyball, Year 12 volleyball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good luck, kids.
Oh, sorry, not draft, they're finals.
Finals.
So we've got to be, it's one of the things, in Life Biscuits, we're like, fulfill potential and all that sort of thing. There's these things that run through commonly. And one of the common things that I think we should be saying a lot of, if we haven't already, is we've got to be smart enough to, something.
Yeah.
And in this case, with realizing, we've got to be smart enough to realize that results won't necessarily come instantly. We've got to be smart enough to realize that if we only do what needs to be done when we're motivated, that we're not going to get anywhere near our potential. So let's be smart enough to realize that. And let's not use the I'm not motivated excuse anymore. All right. Sometimes it takes just the first step. Like if I put my running shoes on, the chances of me going for a run are pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. And all I've got to do is go and put my shoes on. And if I'm on the couch, all I've got to do that is get off the couch.
Yep.
A little trick that we often use, or I often use, and I know Haley's used in the past, just give yourself a countdown.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm getting up in
3,
5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you get up and you're like, boom, I'm away.
Well, I'm up, yeah. Well, might as well go do it now.
And you are there. And then your discipline will be realized.
Yeah.
And once it's realized, you can build some momentum, man. And once momentum's happening, then that motivation is is rolling on you, and you've got that on your side now. You're not working against that. So it's like that positive feedback loop that we've been talking about.
To build up, things start cooking. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Awareness is key. We've got to realize. All right, it's on us. So let's make it happen. Alrighty, so that's the R. So far we've had guts. It takes guts, people. Alright, we've got to work hard, take the path of most resistance. We've got to perspire.
Right.
We've got to have that dog mentality.
You dog.
If it counts twice. We've then gone on to the R. R squared.
R squared,
realize squared. We've got to realize it's on us, and then we will realize the power of discipline.
And then the third letter in grit is I, and it stands for invest. Alright. And in previous Biscuits Compass, we've talked about our values hierarchies and our value hierarchy. And we need to make sure that we're investing our discipline in the right areas so that we see the right fruits. Got a little anecdote here. And I don't know, I felt personally rewarded from the experience, all right, because it required a lot of discipline. But I did the David Goggins challenge a while ago.
You beast.
Oh, it was tough, I tell you. It was tough.
It was tough, like, knowing that you were doing it for me. Like, I was at home and things were nice and comfy, and I'm like, Lowy's out there. It was tough for me.
Oh, man.
You got guts, Lowy.
Yeah, I try to do something wacky or, out there, pushing my boundaries every holidays. And these holidays, I was like, heard about this David Goggins challenge. We read his book. That's really kicked off some of the stuff, Life Biscuit stuff for us. And I was like, why not? Why not go in? First session was at 12 a.m. And then, so it's you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And by that time...
So 4 miles is in kilometres? 6
point something. But I ended up doing 7.5 just because I was like...
Each time?
Yeah, I want to do a double marathon in 48 hours, So it was unpleasant, to say the least. And I was just like, use this opportunity as a way to improve your discipline. And I finished it. But if I had used that, and not to say that practicing discipline is not a bad thing, but you can practice your discipline in things that are meaningful and that you can invest in. Like, I think about if I had worked on my assignments or marking or lesson planning or things that really, really, really mattered to me, I would have seen more fruits, and I would have been able to align that with my value hierarchy.
You have still added
Yeah,
to
definitely,
your repertoire of doing difficult things and doing
Mm.
discipline daily and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, if we use money as an example for this investment, because I mean, obviously it's a financial kind of term as well. If I have X amount of money, there's a few things I can do with it. I can spend it, all right, and waste it on consumables and whatnot. So that's one option, and that's like not being disciplined, right? That's like staying on the couch and wasting. We can then invest it, and we can invest our money in something quite or very safe, under the mattress, or a savings account that pays 0.1% per annum or whatever. All right, so I'm still investing it, and there's still going to get
some return,
some benefit. Like I'm still going to have money there when I need it. So for you, putting your discipline into that challenge, you're still investing it, right? You got benefit out of it.
Oh, for sure.
But then we can also choose to invest it in like things that we know from history. Let's call it real estate in Sydney, for example, which just continues to go up and 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 up. Unbelievable. All right, we can invest our discipline into things that really are going to pay back strong. You know, in the future. Not necessarily tomorrow. Although, as you know, there's benefits in practicing discipline like now, because again, I'm like, well, that confidence increases, and you know,
path of most resistance. You make that, build those neural networks.
But it's really the long term that it's going to pay off.
That's what Life Biscuits is about, right? Long term.
Exactly, and we've got to be smart enough to know that the big payoff is coming. You know, perhaps years, maybe even decades down the track.
The price of discipline is less than the price of pain or regret.
Oh man, I love that. Let's hit you with this one, folks. Jim Rohn on this one. Discipline in the moment costs you cents, or he says pennies, being an American, right? Discipline in the moment costs you pennies. So you have to pay a price to get up off the couch and go for your run, or to go and do your marking or whatever now to benefit those kids tomorrow or whatever. So it costs. But the cost of regret in 10 years, or even tomorrow when I have to tell the kids that I didn't do it, even though I told them I would, and I've now done this, or perhaps I've lied and told them that I did but left it at home, wink wink, nudge nudge. So the cost of discipline is pennies, but the cost of regret is huge. So if we know we want to write this book, we can do it daily, right? Chip away at it, daily, and that costs, right? Because we're giving up some time and we're putting in some mental. But at the end, we're going to have this tangible thing that we've invested our time and effort and brains and passion into, which will leave a legacy, and so there's reward there for us, I guess. But if we don't, like the cost of regret, when we're just like, we should have written that book, man. It's been 5 years and we haven't done one page or whatever. That regret really weighs on you. And if you add that to the people realm, like with relationships, I could pay a small price now to just build our relationship, and pay a small price tomorrow to build our relationship and build that trust. Or I could just neglect it, and then bang, crisis happens, and there's tons and tons of regret.
A little example for the kids, students that are listening, please do your assignments. Pay the discipline, to work on a paragraph every night or every 2 nights. All right. And then the pain of not having to, having to do it at 11:56 before it's due for Marta. All right. It's not going to be there. All right. Because you put in the discipline.
Yeah. We talked about motivation in the R. With motivation, like if we're investing in discipline, as we mentioned, motivation will start to come. And that's, Kenny G, Mr. Green, principal of our school, what a legend.
Top bloke.
If he will listen to this at some point in the future. So he said at our meeting on Monday morning, and I can't remember, Mr. Green, if it was you or if you got it from someone else, but the best motivator is a sense of progress. And if we're investing in discipline, the progress will come, and then that momentum starts to build, and therefore the motivation starts to be on our side rather than it being this elusive ghost which perhaps only shows its face at certain angles, or when the light is in a certain, coming in through a certain window or whatever. We can really start to sense this progress through practicing discipline. Now, Lowry, this is where it gets a little bit tough, because once we've started practicing our discipline and investing in it, right, taking little steps, we now need to, once we get better at it, raise our game with our discipline. So we've got to start, rather than just taking the first step and doing it one day a week or whatever, we've got to now ramp it up and go, okay, I need to start designing my discipline. And that links strongly to that deliberate practice stuff. Arnis Erickson, and this Jeff Colvin book of Talent is Overrated, heavily based around deliberate practice. And that is, we're not just practicing willy-nilly. We know exactly what we are trying to get better at, and we have designed systems and we've designed feedback gathering mechanisms, and we're getting better and better and better at that, and we can measure our progress and we can see when we're getting better, and we are willing for it to be boring, and we are willing for it, to just not entertain us, but to know that this is important stuff. So we've got to really get on this, start getting on some streaks, so that we build and build and build, and we get better and better and better, and we start designing more specifically and targeting this and cutting out that.
And that's where we talked about evaluate, journaling and that sort of stuff as well. So check out our previous episodes if you need a reminder or a refresher on getting that information, evaluating what we need to do to be deliberate.
I've my pull-up goal.
100 pull-ups.
100, damn son. No, I just want to get to 17.
17.
Push-ups.
100 push-ups.
But on the pull-up thing, I googled last year, started last year. I'm like, oh sorry, back off, stop listening to me, Google. No, I said, that's going to start talking to me in a second. How many push-ups? How many pull-ups can a man do? I just wanted to know, how many pull-ups can a man do? If I want to be a man, how many should be? And apparently there's a website that says 17. Alright, so 17. And so I'm like, okay, cool, 17. I went outside and I saw how many I could do. And I think it was 6 or something lame like that. And it was probably early February when I said this, and I'm like, I texted my friends and I said, boys, by my birthday, which was only like a month and a half away, I'm going to be able to do 17 pull-ups. And I'm like, who's with me? And I don't think anyone said anything except for my mad unit of a kung fu friend who just 17 and just filmed himself doing 1,000, and I'm like, right. And so anyway, I pursued it, and by my birthday I think I got to 9. It was bad. Boy. And so I lost some motivation there, because that sense of I thought I was like, I'd get to 17, right? I added 3 in 6 weeks, and so I pretty much gave up, hurt my shoulder in the process, yada yada yada. So I fell off the wagon, eventually jumped back on, and started making some progress and whatnot. And then I'm like, but why? I became curious. Why am I not progressing as much as I thought I would? And so I started designing my discipline now a little bit better. I started looking at technique stuff and started looking at how can pull-ups become easier and what am I doing wrong and blah, blah, blah. And I got some tips.
Yeah, boy, nerd out.
And I went from... I was nerded out on it.
Yeah, boy.
And I went from 9 and now I'm up to 15.
15?
I'm close, Lowry.
So close.
I'm close. And the 15 is with some better technique, which makes it a little bit harder as well. So if I really shook myself around a bit, I could probably...
Kick
kicking my legs and stuff, I could probably get to 17. So I designed that discipline a little bit more. So life is reps though.
It is
reps. There's another one for you. Tell yourself that life is reps. Just reps. Come on, get better.
Get better. You happy with invest, mate?
Yeah, I reckon, son. Look, if I come up with anything off the top of my head, I will bring it back. But let's move on to the T.
the T stands for tough love, and we've talked about we've got to be tough with ourselves in terms of our discipline. All right, when we use our metacognition and we realize that we're lying to ourselves, we've got to be tough. All right, we have to also love our future self enough. All right, because they're the ones that are, like we've said, they're the ones. All right, they're going to be reaping the benefits, and they're also going to be reaping the negative things that we don't do. All right, so if we choose not to employ the discipline now, all right, down the track, poor old Lowie's going to be obese. I don't know, chronic diseases, etc., etc.
Yeah,
if we're just looking at a condition point of view. So you've got to love yourself to go, hey, I'm going to love myself, my future self, and be willing to put a bit of pain, put a bit of suffering, put a bit of work, put a bit of guts in, all right, so that I can be disciplined and love my future self.
Yeah. Shout out to Megan, who eventually will listen as well. A few episodes behind, which a few people are. Yeah. And thank you for the support. But Megan always says, "Future Megsy will thank you."
That's true.
Do the work now because future Megsy will thank you. And then sometimes she'll be like, forgotten that she's done something. And she'll be like, "Good on past Megsy," because I'm thanking her now for doing the work when it needed to be done, so that she didn't have to do it in the future.
Tough.
We've just got to convince ourselves that the small amount of pain now will just lead to satisfaction tomorrow, rather than just soft, marshmallowy, snowflakey comfort now. And then the pain of not being prepared, or not being ready tomorrow. We've got to just...
I mean, it's almost like negligent of us if we choose not to. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure.
We're just really shooting ourselves in the foot, like our future selves in the foot, if we just choose to take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost an act of like if you don't love something, like you'd be you're negligent. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, guys, we've got to do better.
Now, discipline can be in many things, right? Like oftentimes we think we'll attach it to like physical
punishment.
I need to go out and just, But really, like, discipline comes from the Latin root word of discer, something along those lines. I'm not Latin, as you know. But it means to learn.
Yeah.
And so we've got to learn to do these things. We've got to realise and see them realised. But I do want to make it a point here and a challenge, and I'm speaking to myself definitely here. 2 factors. 1, it's got to be physical. Like, yes, discipline can be, I need to be disciplined with my finances, I need to be disciplined with my preparation, I need to be disciplined with my sleep and my eating and all that sort of thing. But with my like physical condition and training and all that sort of thing, like, sorry, I don't care who you are, you need to be disciplined in that area, including myself. Why? Because I've got a responsibility to other people in my life and to myself to give this thing its best shot and to thrive over a long period of time, some longevity, right? And so I want to be there for my kids. I've got to see responsibility in myself to be there for them and set a good example for them physically. And so if anyone's listening, including little Glenbo here, I've got to be more disciplined with my training.
Yeah, damn right. We do.
I need to practice that there. Like, let's just say, I need to be more disciplined in my finances. Cool. But if you don't know where to start and you haven't sorted it out with your physical condition, get on it.
Yeah. Like, Snack Size Fitness, guys.
Yeah.
Check out Condition, episode 3. Self-talk, all right, which we've talked about, and confidence, also really important with tough love, right? We've got to have that. When we give ourselves that tough love, that discipline, all right, we've got to, in our head, it almost needs to be like personal trainer telling you, hey, all right, you can't do that. You can't stay on the couch. All right, you can't go eat curry, Glenbo.
Don't tell me that.
All right, you've got to have that self-talk, that coach in your head, all right, that tells you and keeps you accountable. And better yet, we can have people around us, all right, that helps us be accountable as well. Like you said, hey, boys, listen up, 17 pull-ups by my birthday, all right, and they would have been like, Lambo, you said 17 pull-ups.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't. I think they all forgot about it, and I was like, phew.
Thank goodness. Right? But if we make it public, all right, and we, tell other people, hey, this is what's going on, this is my goal, all right, they're going to help us stay accountable. They're going to give us the tough love, all right? They're going to get us on track and help us be disciplined.
Yeah. Not only that, but self-talk, like be hard and be the person who is going to get you off the couch as well. Get that Mr. T happening, right? But also, we can be infinitely better than we think we can.
So much better.
So not only your Mr. T, but your little inspirational Glenbow in there as well, man. Like the self-limiting beliefs of saying that, it's just because he's talented. No, man, like, let's go. Let's get after it. Let's try and put in the effort. I remember reading something about Maya Angelou, who's, a very famous poet and writer and journalist, saying, but it's because she's gifted in that area. And she was, in a reply, saying, you have no idea how many times I just revise and revise and revise and revise to get things right. And I think that whether it's a perfection gap or a fear of failure, there's so many of these little barriers that we put in front of ourselves instead of going, no, you need to start. Like, I spoke to my interns this week about, because everyone, how many times have you had this as a teacher? How do I start?
Yeah.
I don't know how to start. Can you help me start? Like, a million times.
Path of least resistance. Come on, guys.
Yeah. And so I said, forget about your fear of stuffing it up or it sounding stupid or you want it to be perfect and you can't get it, so you're not even going to try. Like, just start. I can't remember who it was who said books aren't written, they're rewritten. And so that's what we're kind of going on with this stuff. Like, we're just doing it.
No excuses, tough love, just make yourself do it.
Exactly.
Just
start and then we can always revise. We can always revise. And then we can always revise. And it's going to get better. With environment and other people around you, making it public and all that sort of thing. Accountability is so important with the tough love because, and I'm just to use an example, we were at the Gold Coast last year for volleyball and you're like, FYI, G-Funk. We're running 10Ks in the morning, and I've only run 10Ks once in my life to this point, and that was numerous years before this particular day. And I'm like, I'm like, all right, if you say it, son. And you were like not taking no for an answer, so up we get, and I'm like, I just don't know how I'm going to go, Lowy, man, 5Ks is usually my limit. And so we started just hitting it, and like the first couple of Ks, I'm like, this isn't going well, but got there in the end. Respectable time. That would never have happened if that tough love from you, because you knew I wanted to get better in this, that, and the other. And I've probably made excuses in front of you in the past when you've run this far, and I'll be like, I could never do that. And you're like, bam, we're doing it. And that tough love from you helped me with my discipline.
Dude, I think you having been there with me made me run faster as well, because if it was just me on my own, I was just running, like in my head, I'd just be like, just keep your pacing okay. And I would have just ran it like just below my threshold. And like, I normally don't run that fast. And because you were there with me, like it made me be disciplined and go, hey, hang on a second. We're here to be deliberate. All right. We're here to be able to like realize that this is not the standard we can be at. We can be better. And then we pushed each other to be sub 1 hour.
Yeah,
which was really good. And another shout out, I mean, like getting people around you is so important. Like we talked about, it in Cultivate, get your co-op. But at an S&C session on Monday, actually, we were just doing at the end, we were just doing some laps, and I was just like, I have to sprint down, touch the wall, come back. And then Brittany, bless you, Brittany, was just like, come on, Lau, you're faster than this. And she's like, I'm racing you. And I'm like, man, thank you so much. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm looking at the other kids who are just like half walking, half jogging. I'm like, I'm running faster than they am. And then Brittany just hot poked me and said, hey, you can do better than this. We're racing, we're competing. We're being dogs, we're getting after it. And it's just so important, like having, and she didn't say it in a tough love kind of way. It was just like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, having other people there, so important, that environment.
Yeah. And that's not to take away from the fact that if there's no one there, that you are still going all the way to that wall and touching it and coming back. You know, we talk so much about like complete the task that's been set. So if it's go and do shuttle runs and hand and foot on the line before you come back, like get your hand and foot on the line.
Yeah.
You're only selling yourself short by not doing it.
Taking shortcuts.
Like, as a coach, if I say, yep, run to here, hand and foot on the line and come back, if I see someone not do it, that's just telling me a lot about that person, their character and their work ethic more than anything else that I'm then going to follow up with. You know, we want to, and sort of that cueing with parallel acknowledgement of people who did do it and say, bam, you touched the line, you know, that's integrity right there. You completed the activity. Whereas everyone else, all you're doing is selling yourself short.
Yeah.
You haven't completed something.
That path of least resistance.
Exactly,
as always. Do better, kids. Do better, Glenbo. Do better, Lowy.
Absolutely. Me too. Talking to ourselves. Some tough love stuff. 1 in 7 people, when confronted with a life-changing diagnosis or a life-threatening diagnosis, will make changes. 1 in 7.
1 in 7. That is a low percentage.
I.e., like, this has happened to you, boom, change your diet and exercise patterns now, or you'll only have a year to live or whatever. 1 in 7 people are able to sustain long-term change. The other 6 are like, nah, I like it in my comfort zone.
That's so depressing to hear too. I mean, like, if we think about tough love, you're not willing to love your future self, but not even your future self, but the people in your relationships, your family. Like, you're not willing to change to have longevity and be able to spend time with them. Like, come on, guys.
Well, come on, guys, yes. All right. But here's a bigger challenge. That's us. Like the 6 out of... If we're not exercising now and not eating properly now, we're the 6 out of 7. Because ultimately we're saying, I'm good until a doctor tells me that I'm not. Again, we've got to be smart enough to know that me not exercising enough now and me eating these things too much now, all right, I'm one of the 6 out of 7. I just haven't got the diagnosis yet. You know, if I can't change now with the knowledge that I should be exercising this much and I shouldn't be eating this much of this food, and I'm talking to myself here, with my curries. FYI, listeners, yes, I do love the butter chicken.
Oh, it's so good.
But, like, and I've challenged myself to talk about it once every episode. Because I need to, cut back. And I'm going alright. I figure once every fortnight or so is okay. It may be
metacognition. realizing.
Maybe it's not. We'll talk about that sort of thing in the dunk when we talk about how do we start with this sort of thing. But yeah, we've got to be tough enough to say, wait, do I need to wait before a crisis in my life before I make a change, or can I be proactive enough to make the change now? All right.
Yeah, let's get tough on ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. This biscuit links a lot to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, with consistency. So there's some stuff tonight that we definitely could have talked about in relation to, you know, getting on some streaks, in relation to bouncing back, you know, after we fail and all that sort of stuff. But we're going to bring that at you next week. I think we'll finish it up now with the dunk. Lowy, what do you reckon?
Well, yeah, I'm ready. And I think the dunk is quite... Well, it can be tailored to what you need to do, but essentially is do something you don't want to do right now.
Yeah.
All right.
I think a really easy way to start, and if you're looking for an easy way to start, is pick a discipline day.
Yeah.
You know, or 2 discipline days, or whatever you want to set your number at. But let's just say 1 discipline day in the week, where it's just like today.
This day
is discipline day, and that is where no distractions. So I'm kind of from this time to this time, I'm just putting my phone away. I'm locking it away, or there's the TV just doesn't go on this day, or you know, today is a discipline day. I'm gonna prepare well for this day. I'm gonna know what my goals are for this day. I'm going to design my discipline for this day, and I'm going to switch off distractions for this day. And I think one day, or whether it's a night in the week, if you work the whole day, whatever, like we can give ourselves 6 nights to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But let's give ourselves 1 to start.
And I mean, that's such an easy, like, I don't think it's a large sacrifice to make. I mean, in terms of sacrifice, we have to be gutsy. And we have to say, hey, I've got to get uncomfortable and do the hard work. And I think 1 day is very manageable for all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Another part of the dunk is to go above and beyond. All right. And yeah, let's say you choose to set, 1 day for discipline. All right. Maybe you do go to the gym, go for a run on other days, but go above and a little bit beyond on what you would normally do. All right. If you go for a run on Monday and you do 3Ks, go for 3.5. All right. Go for a little bit more. Be disciplined and say, hey, part of Life Biscuits is excellence and potential and pushing ourselves. All right. And if we can get uncomfortable, all right, and be gutsy and realize that if I want to continue to be more disciplined, I have to continue to forge the path of most resistance until it becomes easy for us, and then you continue on the path of most resistance.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be great. No one wants to
put the effort
in what needs to be done.
The discipline.
So go above and beyond there. Take a moment, and this isn't hard, this dunk, all right? But take a moment in your week to meditate on this. How's your May meditations going now?
Not great. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Not great.
Yeah.
Full honesty.
Yeah.
The morning's been good, but night times it's just like journal, and I haven't been really like. I'd like to really focus on my breathing. The morning stuff's okay, but nighttime it's just like, and then finish journaling, do my habit tracker. Cool. Which I should probably put some systems in place. Hey.
Yeah, I think so. But for the meditations, if you go and do it, here's what I want you to do this week: is take time to picture 2 things. 1, spend a bit of time visualizing your future if you continue on your current path, or you just make choices that aren't disciplined. So you're choosing comfort. You're choosing the easier way. What's your future going to look like in 5 years? So just go through it. Every day I'm being comfortable. Every day I'm sitting on the couch. Every day I'm probably eating some stuff that I shouldn't. Every day I'm probably not exercising enough. Like have a visual image of what that future self looks like. And then flip it. All right? And spend a bit of time meditating on, wait, what if I did the easy option? Not the easier option, the easy option for what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight, or for going for that little bit of exercise, or for spending time in my journal, or for spending time really listening to my partner, or spending time engaging with my kids. Like if I do that discipline stuff every day, or spend time writing or reading or marking or whatever it is, if I did that every day, choosing positive emotion, bam, I'm seeing this happen every day. Think about yourself in 5 years from now. What your relationships will look like, what your physical body and physical health will look like, what your emotion will look like. Like it's going to be, and then look at the chasm between
the gap,
what we just talked about, and use that as just that mental image to then start the ball rolling and go, yep, I want that. So that's an easy visualization that we can definitely fit into our days. And that's a simple dunk for us. All right.
Discipline. Our acronym. Grit.
Yeah.
Guts. Realize squared. Invest. Tough love. Hard hitting.
It is. Disciplined people. This is Baumeister and Tierney wrote a book on willpower. All right. And I mean, it's
pretty sciencey.
Yeah, pretty sciencey book. Talking a lot about brain and all that sort of stuff. Disciplined people are not only more satisfied with their lives, they also experience more positive emotion, which kind of sounds counterintuitive a little bit, but I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Like you think if it's going to be joyful to sit on the couch rather than get out and go for a run, but no, it's the opposite. And I mean, we can obviously figure out why with hormone release and all that sort of thing. So yeah, we can get some things in place happening, and then we will be back next week
with consistency.
A really cool kind of practical, motivational type biscuit is next week. So please definitely tune in. Check us out on social medias.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, and a little Twitter if you want to check our not so active Twitter. Yeah. Or shoot us an email, lifebickies2ks@gmail.com.
That's it.
And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Peace.
See you later. Time to go.
So delicious.
I'm feeling full.
Yum yum in my tum tum.
Gotta digest them bickies.